Vancouver, there seems to be a never-ending stream of obstacles facing the Fraser River salmon returning to spawn this year, as well as the young preparing to make their own ocean-going journey. On top of warm water, habitat degradation and fishing pressure came the near misses of the last week. Spill response workers at the scene where a tugboat sank on the Fraser River between Vancouver and Richmond on Tuesday. While the boat was carrying an estimated 22,000 litres of diesel, it's still unclear how much of that spilled into the river system. Daryl Dyke, the Canadian Press. Last Friday, fire crews fought back a blaze on board a scrap metal barge in the Fraser in Surrey, BC. Then on Tuesday, authorities sprang into action to contain a spill and remove a tugboat that had flipped and sank in the Fraser River near Deering Island in South Vancouver the night before. While the boat was carrying an estimated 22,000 litres of diesel, it's still unclear how much of that spilled into the river system. Those adult salmon really have a gauntlet to get through to make it to their streams to spawn successfully, said Dave Scott, a biologist with the Raincoast Conservation Foundation focused on Fraser River salmon. Article continued below. The warm water is the really big challenge. The Fraser right now is about 19 C and it's reached a high of close to 21 C in the last couple of weeks, he said. Temperatures above 18 C make it much more difficult for the salmon to reach the streams where they once hatched to spawn. The fish simply aren't built to handle it, said Aaron Hill, executive director of Watershed Watch and an ecologist specializing in salmon habitat. It impairs their ability to swim, it impairs their immune systems, makes them susceptible to diseases, makes it harder for them to get away from predators, he explained. The result, you get increasing numbers that die before they are able to spawn. Hill said that in warm water years we need to be careful how much water people are pulling from the system. More volume can lead to cooler temperatures running through the river, he said, and that means healthier salmon. There's certainly a number of challenges stacked up against them. The pollution resulting from those accidents certainly isn't going to help matters, Hill said of the tugboat sinking and barge fire. The actual impact of the marine diesel that leaked during the sinking of the 63-foot George H. Ledcore is still under investigation, Star Metro was told during a call with incident commanders from the Canadian Coast Guard, the BC Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy and the Musqueam First Nation. Article continued below. Ken Meeks, an environmental emergency response officer with the BC government, said teams were taking samples of water and sediments Friday to get a better idea of the potential impacts of the spill in particularly sensitive or culturally significant areas. While marine diesel can be an acutely toxic material, some of it would have evaporated, so the response teams are now trying to determine what is remaining in the environment, he said. More than 2,900 kilograms of solid waste, absorbent material placed around the containment booms to soak up hydrocarbons but not water, was collected during the cleanup, Meek said. Some amount of diesel couldn't be recovered, though he asserted it wasn't a significant quantity. There's no concern at this time for the salmon runs that are going through the area, he said, but they are still evaluating what impacts there may have been to nearby habitat where juvenile salmon are rearing. While Scott said he would put the tugboat and barge fire incidents in the near-miss category, they speak to the danger of expanding our industrialization of the river, a big oil spill into the river when adult sockeye are trying to migrate upstream and there's still juvenile salmon rearing before they migrate to the ocean could have a really serious negative impact on those fish that are present at that time, he said. Ainsley Cruikshank is a Vancouver-based reporter covering the environment. Follow her on Twitter, @AinsCruikshank.